MoShiach Era Rabbi Mendel Kessin part edited written speech based on the MoShiach. The difference between now and the MoShiach Era is unfathomable. If you think you have an inkling, you are incredibly mistaken. I will tell you one chazal in the Midrash Rabbah at the end of Kohel's. It says, the Torah of Moshe Rabbeinu, which is everything we know, Bavli, Yerushalmi, Midrash, Mekilta, Teshuvas, everything, is Hevel, Luft, air, compared to the Torah of the MoShiach. Air. That's how insubstantial it is. Its surface. The Torah of the MoShiach is comparatively substantial. That's what the earth will be filled with the knowledge of God means. Participant, thank you. The second question is, you mentioned the possibility of the MoShiach coming in this year of Shemitah. Rabbi Mendel Kessin, yes, because the Gemara, in Sanhedrin, says that the MoShiach comes at the end of Shemitah, which is what, in 3 months, but then you mentioned 2030, that it's a possibility. Rabbi Mendel Kessin, the coming of MoShiach Ben-YoSef is a process. He's a real person, but he doesn't just, suddenly, appear. That's a long shire, but just to fill you in, who is the Messiah, not what his name is, I'm not going to tell you that. What kind of person is he? He is somebody that you would never recognize, and there's a midrash about his suffering for the sins of the Jews, suffering terribly. What happens to him? There's a pasuk, verse in Yeshayahu, Isaiah, Pasuk Bes, verse 52, towards the end, which says, Hein Yaskal Avdi, behold, my servant will grow wise. Who is God's servant? There are different opinions. Most people hold it's the Jewish people, but the Targum says it's the Messiah himself. It continues, and he will be exalted, will become exceedingly high, will grow exceedingly. These are 3 expressions of growth. The Midrash asks, why does it refer to Messiah this way? MoShiach starts off as Avdi, my servant in prison, not literally but figuratively. He endures terrible suffering. He's in Golis, exile, just like Moshe Rabbeinu was in Golis for 36 years. When he's released he becomes great. He will be greater than Avraham Avinu. Not bad. Becoming exalted means he will be greater than Moshe Rabbeinu, and he will be greater than the angels. This is a man who lives amongst us, who is going to walk around amongst us. Could you imagine seeing a man that is greater than the angels? It's inconceivable. We cannot imagine someone greater than Avraham Avinu and Moshe Rabbeinu. Forget it. And angels. It means that the MoShiach is the most dangerous man in the universe. Why? If you were to approach this guy, you would drop dead from his kedusha, holiness. It's like Moshe Rabbeinu who, if you recall, wore a mask. You couldn't look at his face. You could not look at the kedusha of Moshe Rabbeinu, same thing. Likewise, you cannot look at the kedusha of the MoShiach. So, when he comes, he's going to kill everybody. Think about that. Fortunately, he starts off at 0, because he's a prisoner, suffering for the sake of the Jewish people. Therefore, he's going to appear as a regular guy, but his potential is inapprehensible. Then he will be released, and he will grow, and, at the same time that he grows, the Jewish people grow with him. That's the incredible thing. And that's what God means by, and I will take you to me. Somehow, God is going to elevate every single Jew to be a formidable Talmid Chacham, scholar, the same as happened by Sinai. This is in order to survive the MoShiach, or else he kills you. Every Jew will grow to a tremendous extent. How that will happen is unknown, but the MoShiach will grow, and we will grow with him, so we can survive. God has to change the Jewish people. God is not going to bring the MoShiach to the Jewish people who are at the 49th level of Tumah, even though he did that by Moshe Rabbeinu. God had to, because their fall into the 50th was imminent. The MoShiach is greater than Avraham Avinu, than Moshe Rabbeinu, and greater than the angel, Gabriel. And MoShiach is a human being. This is what the redemption is. We are looking at a time when we cannot imagine the greatness of every Jew. You won't even be able to recognize yourself. You won't. You don't realize what you will become. That's the final redemption.